Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Sorry we've been a bit quiet the past couple of days. I had to go see a client yesterday. I make it sound bad, but I decided to take on personally see one of the clients, and then so I was doing that all yesterday, and then Thursdays are my day off, so I wasn't working this morning. So that's why we've been a bit quiet across socials, across YouTube and Facebook and all that. So apologies, but we're looking to get straight back into it with hopefully an interesting and I'm going to say hopefully a valuable video for you guys today. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about these guys here. Well, not just these guys, but these guys, this type of fish, and that is what we call Mbuna. So Mbuna refers to like a type of fish basically from like Malawi in Africa. And that refers to a group that is going to be more rock or cave dwelling fish that feed on the algae and kind of detritus in that, and it builds up on the rocks. So it's easy to see with the lycomas, which is like this guy here. They got the big teeth for scraping the rocks, and they're known for being a lot more, sort of a bit more aggressive, and definitely not as popular as the peacocks and haps, which would be like your OB peacocks, dragon's bloods, empress dolphins, that kind of thing. The ones that a lot of people think about when they think of African cichlids. And the main sort of thesis of today's video is that these guys don't get the credit they deserve, and particularly within New Zealand. Obviously, I'm in New Zealand here, so I can't speak to what the hobby is like overseas, but at least as far as New Zealand goes, we tend to forget about the Mbuna, and I think that kind of does them a disservice. They're really fantastic fish that a lot more people would get a lot out of, but they are sort of misrepresented, misunderstood within the aquarium hobby. So with the Mbuna, the reason I think they're not quite as sort of popular or well thought of in the aquarium hobby in New Zealand is for the simple reason that a lot of the Mbunas that we see around are quite sort of low quality, and it's hard to find good ones. So like particularly actually for the common stuff, like finding good yellow labs, good Demosones, that sort of thing is actually really difficult. And the problem is when you're buying like really kind of average, lower quality, lower grade, say yellow labs for example, they get like really like, it takes all the fun out of them. So they'll go real kind of grey, and they'll be a bit yellow, but they'll have a white patch in the middle, and it's like, like everyone says African cichlids are so cool, but these guys aren't that cool. And that's a real shame, because obviously part of the reason for keeping African cichlids is their bright, beautiful colours. But the stuff we see around a lot of the time is, like particularly with the yellows, they've been hybridized beyond belief, particularly with the red zebras, but you know, it's impossible to know really. And there's just all sorts of random junk in there, and they don't actually look right. So what we have happen a lot of times is like people go on the internet and see them and be like, oh man, that's so cool, I want them. And then they'll go to buy them, and it's like, oh, they don't actually look like how I was thinking of. That's kind of disappointing, especially with the common stuff. So it's like a bit, it does sort of drain the fun out of the hobby, and it's a real shame, because proper good quality yellows and any variety of Mbuna are really, really stunning. Their behavior is fantastic. Honestly, I would probably say I enjoy the experience of keeping Mbuna much more than I would say I enjoy the experience of keeping the peacocks and haps. Like, I'm not very much in the space of like wanting to choose between them. They're both fantastic fish, but Mbuna are really, really fun, and it's just a great thing to be able to keep them. I just, part of the reason I'm so passionate about today's episode topic is because I want everyone else to experience what I've experienced keeping Mbuna. Not necessarily like anything super crazy, just like, you know, the bog standard stuff. They are really fantastic fish. So with the Mbuna, that is, I think, something that really does suck the joy out of it. The other common sort of trope, I guess you'd call it, that you hear a lot of the time is that Mbuna is so aggressive, they're too aggressive, it's unmanageable. And they are definitely, I'm going to say, they are certainly more aggressive than, say, your peacocks and haps. Like, without a doubt, no question about it, they are more aggressive. But it is certainly manageable. It's not like a kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm never going to be able to manage this aggression. We're just going to be stuck with them and they're going to kill everything. And the second part with the aggression is not all Mbuna are the same. So I think with the Mbunas, there's two. We'll address those two parts separately. They are more aggressive, but it is manageable. What you can do is just, if you keep the right ratio of males to females, like maybe one male to like 3 or 4 females, probably more than that, one male to like 6 to 8 females, you will find that they'll be a lot more manageable, and you will have to what's called overstock the aquarium. So put more fish in than you would for, like, say, a general community fish. What that means is you have to have better filtration, you have to keep up with more water changes, all that kind of thing, but certainly manageable. The next part that bears thinking about is a lot of Mbunas, like the popular ones, so say something like a Demisoni, is gonna need a bigger group than a lot of people will give it. With Dems, I would never recommend keeping less than, say, like 12 to 15 in a group. It is, like, you will hear anecdotal evidence of people doing it, like, getting away with a smaller group. But, I mean, for the most part, keeping them in a smaller group is just going to lead to aggression. Having a much bigger group is going to give you such a better chance and a better sort of group going that is really going to calm everyone down and keep everything much more manageable. If you have, say, 3 Demisoni, they will just be belligerent and fight and fight and fight. And it is really, I mean, that's obviously going to suck. It's going to take the fun out of it, you know. It definitely is not something that we want to see. The other part is, not all Mbunas are created equal. Something like an Auratus, for example, is very, very aggressive sort of baseline and is always going to be more aggressive than, say, a yellow lab. So what I would do when you're designing your aquarium, your first Mbuna aquarium, is selecting species that, number one, are going to go well together. Things like yellows, Dems, Impangas, what else? Redfin Trophiops, all that kind of stuff. Choose those kind of things. Maybe stay away from things like your Auratus, your blue zebras, that kind of thing. That might be a little bit more of a thing you might want to look at later on, once you've got a little bit more practice and a little bit more up with how to manage these aggression issues. Unfortunately, a lot of people, I'm going to say, don't get started off on the right foot, which is why a lot of people will struggle when starting out on their Mbuna journey. Things like, if you add like one yellow lab to a bunch of angelfish and community fish, that yellow lab is going to be an absolute terror and just kill everything. And that sucks. That's why Mbunas are going to get a bad rap. But you set up an Mbuna tank, keeping them with appropriate tank mates and all that kind of thing, they will be perfectly happy. They will be very calm, not have to worry about the aggression, easy to maintain, not too much sort of stress in that regard, and it will keep you it'll start you off a lot better on your Mbuna journey. And I think that's the most important part, is starting each other off on the right path. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to have the same experience. Some people might have one fish that's super terrifying. Some people might have a generally aggressive fish that's very calm. But the main thing is keeping everyone having the best possible chance of being able to succeed. Keeping these Mbuna is really fun. I honestly cannot recommend it enough. It is so much fun. They're so active, they're so fun, they're so like interactive, they will breed easily if you want to do that, all that kind of things. So honestly, I can't recommend it enough. Just start yourself off with good quality stock so you actually get what you are expecting. Select appropriate things like smaller stuff for a smaller tank, things that'll get along together, all that kind of thing. And if you're selecting all that kind of stuff, you will have a good sort of start, I guess. And I think they're well worth it. They're a really cool variety of fish to keep, and I promise you will get a lot out of it. If you want to get Mbuna, please drop down below what you guys think, what you find, what ones you like, what ones you don't like, what colors, all that kind of stuff. I would really, really love to hear it. I think it'll be an awesome space to kind of be able to share that with each other. So yeah, I really, the kind of summary is definitely keep Mbuna. Don't buy into the hype that they're too aggressive, because they definitely aren't. If they're kept right, they're very, very manageable, very easy. Same as anything, can be very easy, I should say. You can make it harder if you want, but you don't need to. If you want something simple and easy, it's definitely doable. So yeah, that's kind of all I had today. I really hope that that has kind of taken away some of the scariness that we often see when it comes to the Mbuna. And I hope it will maybe let you guys have a bit more confidence to be able to start on your Mbuna keeping journey. Because as I said before, you honestly, once you do it, you will not regret it. They're really fantastic fish, fantastic colors, fantastic behaviors. So what more could you want, basically? But thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a lovely day, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.